I have a question about the importance of ties to family. How do we implement when family is non-Muslim and get angry at me when I speak of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or the Quran? Lately, I've also had to distance myself for Palestinian views.
Yeah, may Allah bless you. I've been there. That was my life. I became Muslim when I was 20. Had a lot of energy. A lot of zeal as a new Muslim. I think that's very normal. Number one, there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean you're doing a bad job, but you have to also play chess, not checkers. And so at times it may be the best thing you can do for them is not to talk about Islam. That may actually increase mystery, always breeds interest, right? So I know with my own family, like people used to tell me for years, don't go to Christmas, right? Don't go to holidays. But it was crazy when I finally would go to holidays just to give my regards. It was at those events that people asked most of the questions, especially Christmas. Like, what do you believe about Jesus? What do you believe about angels? Like, I got the most important questions about Islam at places where online Muslims were telling me not to go. But they don't have non-Muslim families, so they're not able to understand the pixels of that relationship. So there were even some years where I said nothing about religion to my family. Just make dua for them. And then, especially when I had children, things changed because grandma and grandpa are very different than Baba and Mama. And so my 5-year-old went to my mother one day and said, "Why don't you pray?" Because she didn't know people don't pray, right? She thought everybody in the world prayed. And so that opened the door for a conversation with my mother. So that's okay. You're not doing a bad job. It's hard. And one thing, those of you born Muslim, when you ask us a lot, are your parents Muslim? It's a tough question to hear, believe it or not, because it's not easy. It's not easy. That's why the prophets were tested with family, right? Family is the most difficult, believe me, especially I was the youngest. So nobody wanted to listen to me. I'm the baby. So it takes a lot of time. And you want to think about, if you're not married and you get married, you want to make sure that you have this really meaningful conversation with your future spouse about, I have non-Muslim family that's still my family. And we have to somehow make sure they're worked into all this. Because that kind of a cultural experience sometimes is more meaningful than blunt theology, right? Being around people, seeing good character, having good food. Look at the Palestinians, right? They're not reading the Shama'il, they're not reading Bukhari, they're just exercising indescribable resilience in the face of an indescribable test. And that just motivated people. So you never know, alhamdulillah, what Allah may use to turn on the switch.